Hello, my friend. Have you ever met someone who said very little, yet everyone in the room respected them? They did not speak loudly. They did not interrupt. They did not try to prove how smart they were, and still, people listened. People trusted them. People remembered them. What is their secret? How can someone impress others without talking too much? Today, you will discover a powerful story about silent confidence, deep listening, and the quiet art of influence. Stay with this story, because by the end, you may start speaking less and impressing more. In a busy city filled with noise, meetings, and endless conversations, there was a well-known training center where people came to improve communication skills. Every day, groups of learners gathered in a bright room with large windows and simple wooden chairs. They believed that speaking more meant becoming more confident. They practiced long speeches. They competed to share the best ideas. They tried to answer every question first. One season, a new communication workshop opened inside the center. It promised something different. The poster on the wall said, "Impress others by saying less." Many students laughed when they saw it. They believed that success required strong, long speeches and fast responses. Still, curiosity brought them into the classroom. The room was quiet. No music played. No colorful banners hung on the walls. Only a whiteboard stood in front. The instructor entered without dramatic introduction. Instead of beginning with a long explanation, a simple question was written on the board. Why do people truly respect someone? Hands quickly rose in the air. Answers filled the room. Because they are smart. Because they are rich. Because they speak confidently. Because they know many facts. The voices grew louder. Each person tried to sound more impressive than the last. The instructor listened without interrupting. After a few minutes, the instructor gently erased all the answers. Then another question appeared. Who do you trust the most? The room became quieter. This question felt deeper. People thought about friends, mentors, and family members. They realized something surprising. The people they trusted most were not the loudest ones. They were the ones who listened carefully. That day, the first lesson began. The lesson was simple. Listening creates influence. Many believed influence came from powerful words. But the instructor explained that when someone feels heard, they feel valued, and when people feel valued, they naturally respect the person who gave them attention. To practice this idea, students were divided into pairs. One person spoke about a recent challenge in life. The other person could not interrupt, give advice, or share personal stories. The listener had only one task: maintain eye contact, nod gently, and ask short, thoughtful questions. At first, this felt uncomfortable. Silence filled the spaces between sentences. But something interesting happened. The speakers began to share more deeply. Without interruption, their thoughts became clearer. Their emotions softened. They felt understood. When the exercise ended, many admitted they felt closer to their partner, even though the listener had said very little. The second lesson focused on body language. Words are powerful, but silent signals speak louder. A calm posture, steady breathing, and relaxed shoulders communicate confidence. Rapid movements, crossed arms, and restless eyes show nervousness. Students practiced standing still while speaking slowly. They discovered that fewer gestures often made their presence stronger. Another exercise involved meetings. A mock meeting was created with a simple problem to solve. Previously, everyone tried to talk at once. Now, they were given new rules. Speak only when necessary. Keep answers short. Ask one clarifying question before sharing an opinion. The result was surprising. The meeting ended faster, and the solution was clearer. During one session, a short video was shown. It displayed 2 job interviews. In the first interview, the candidate talked continuously about achievements. The interviewer barely spoke. In the second interview, the candidate answered briefly, then asked thoughtful questions about the company's goals. Most students agreed that the second candidate seemed more confident and mature. The instructor explained an important idea. Talking too much often shows insecurity. When someone feels the need to prove everything, they may actually doubt themselves. True confidence allows space. It does not rush. It does not compete for attention. It speaks clearly and then listens. Weeks passed, and changes became visible. Students who once dominated conversations now paused before answering. They observed reactions. They noticed small details. One student shared that family discussions at home had improved. By listening first, arguments became shorter. Understanding grew. Another lesson introduced the power of silence. Silence can feel uncomfortable, but it is powerful. After asking a question, waiting quietly encourages the other person to continue speaking. In business negotiations, silence often leads to better offers. In friendships, silence creates space for honesty. To test this idea, students practiced asking open questions and waiting at least 5 seconds before speaking again. At first, those 5 seconds felt long, but gradually they realized that meaningful responses often came after the 3rd or 4th second. Silence gave people time to think. The instructor also taught the importance of choosing words carefully. Instead of long explanations, simple sentences were encouraged. Clear language shows respect. Complicated language may confuse listeners. Saying less forces the speaker to think more before talking. A powerful exercise involved storytelling. Students were asked to explain a complex topic in only 3 sentences. They struggled. They realized how often unnecessary words filled their speech. After practice, their messages became sharper and more memorable. Outside the classroom, results continued. During presentations at work, some participants decided to reduce slides and speak slowly. Instead of long introductions, they started with one strong idea. Audiences paid more attention. Questions increased. Engagement improved. The final lesson arrived sooner than expected. The instructor wrote a final statement on the board. Impress through presence, not pressure. Presence means being fully in the moment, not thinking about the next sentence, not planning the next argument, just listening and responding calmly. In the closing exercise, each student entered the room one by one and greeted the group. No dramatic speech was allowed. Only a calm introduction, steady eye contact, and one thoughtful question for the audience. The atmosphere changed. The room felt respectful and focused. At the end of the program, many students shared reflections. They admitted that before joining, they believed fluency meant speaking fast and speaking often. Now they understood that fluency also means control. It means knowing when to stop. It means valuing silence. The city outside remained noisy. Traffic continued. Phones rang. Conversations filled cafes and offices. But inside each participant, something had shifted. They no longer felt pressure to fill every silence. They discovered that influence grows in quiet moments. Days turned into months. Some participants received promotions. Others improved relationships. A few even started teaching these techniques to friends. The principles stayed the same. Listen deeply, speak clearly, and pause confidently. The training center eventually updated its poster. It no longer said only, "Impress others by saying less." A new line appeared beneath it. The loudest voice is not always the strongest. And so the lesson remains simple but powerful. To impress anyone, you do not need endless words. You need attention. You need calm energy. You need thoughtful responses. When you speak less, people lean closer. When you listen more, people open up. Perhaps the next time you enter a room, you will try something different. Instead of preparing long speeches, prepare strong listening. Instead of competing for attention, offer understanding. Notice how reactions change. Notice how respect grows. Impressing others is not about showing how much you know. It is about making others feel valued. It is about speaking with intention and listening with patience. In a world full of noise, quiet confidence stands out. So remember this story whenever you feel the need to talk too much. Pause, breathe, listen, then speak with purpose. Because sometimes the fewest words create the deepest impact.